to our first EP collab, man. Oakland Vallejo, the Bay Area, stand up. I'm from that town. She from Vallejo. Said let's collab. She said okay. We all should play. Hot potato. Whoever got the hottest vibe wants the next. Challenge accepted. It's me, I'm the best. Like creative players on hunters, no less. The lines in your forehead just told me you stressed it. Got G-O-D on me side. Oh, he blessed me. All these lies they tell it's a vaccine. They're acting it's so bad like it's wrestling. Keep my circle so small it's insane. If you made the cut then you're part of my team. Just like blowing that pint on strikes, no gutter. Attracted to the mind but I like mine's hooder. She gotta have a pretty face too.
Hi, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new to the channel. I am Mrs. Best. It's the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. We have our regular co-host James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel.
Hey, y'all.
He is here. He is bright-eyed. His teeth is white, and he is ready to go over the Housewives of Beverly Hills. I can tell. We both are so irritated with Love and Hip Hop. If people only knew.
Oh, I was irritated with this reunion show because, first of all, this was way too much time to be spending on Kyle's motherfucking ass. I'm sorry. The whole damn episode was based on Kyle. She's not that despite what she says, yes, she did give us a whole lot of memories. Whoop-de-fuck-you-do. But no, she is not entertaining. And I'm not finna sit up here and act like she deserved this whole third part of this reunion segment.
She didn't. She didn't. And there's nothing else I can. Yeah, I'm shit. You said it before I could.
No, because I had to get it off my chest because she made me so mad. She didn't explain anything. She didn't want to talk about nothing. She barely answered the questions. And then Kathy Hilton.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest complaint. I didn't understand the need for Kathy. I just didn't. Let's just jump into it. I did not text. Hi, Naya. She said cheats. She did not. So this reunion annoyed the crap out of me as well. I did not text James intentionally. Usually I'd be texting him like as I'm watching, but because I was like, I want to see his reaction on live and like truly give y'all a genuine reaction. But I know we both fed the fuck up. And Naya is ahead of the game. Goodbye, Kyle. Because I really think Kyle is fucking herself when she thinks that what she's doing is going to help her stay on the show, or she thinks, because James has explained, she is pretentious. So she probably thinks that she can get away with this bullshit. Let's see. She was dragged the fuck out of this breakup like we were dumb. Thank you. She's just annoying for how she handled this situation. So they start this reunion segment by asking Kyle if Teddy was doing her dirty work when inferencing that Sutton might have a drinking problem on her little 2 T's on a pod or something that she has. And Sutton basically tells Kyle that she's been consistently mean to her, which she has. Whenever Kyle and Sutton are alone, Kyle is kind. Unless they're arguing, obviously, but she's kind, or they can get somewhere. The moment Kyle is with friends or around other people, she treats Sutton and other people differently, in my opinion. Lord help us. So Sutton told that bitch, watch the show. I'm not about to explain to you how you were rude to me. If you don't know how you were rude to me, then you're going to do it again. So I'm going to let you figure that out on your own. They do end up hugging it out, which I thought was bullshit. While Sutton is at this time my favorite housewife of all time, for just in general, not of all time, but she is my favorite housewife of all the franchises right now. And I watch pretty much every franchise except for the new Roni reboot. And I love Sutton, but what she needs to work on, I wouldn't have hugged that bitch. I'm not hugging Kyle Richards, Umansky, Wade. I'm not hugging her. I'm just not going to do it. I think Sutton can be too forgiving. The things that Kyle said, the things that Kyle has done, the way that Kyle drunkenly allowed Diana to basically bully Sutton. I've been done with Kyle for a while, but that really showed me that they just are not friends. They don't. I think Sutton cares about Kyle. I don't think Kyle cares about Sutton at all. What do you think about that before we get to other topics?
I agree because Sutton is my favorite housewife. Yeah, she does. Absolutely. I agree, Naya. I want to really put into context. I want Sutton to stop being afraid to go off on people and use her words and start, putting people in their place. I'm tired of her leaning back and giving faces. You need to open up that mouth and start cussing people out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you this again, Sutton, because you're getting on my nerves with this. You needed to cuss Kyle the fuck. When Kyle said, "What did I do to you?" Okay, well, when I had my moment in Las Vegas, and yes, I was dead ass wrong. When I told you I was fine, you wanted to then drag it out with the other ladies and say, "Oh, well, she was uncomfortable and she was full of it. She was faking all whatever you said. You said some sly ass shit, and that's when it started." I love how she likes to point out as it was something in the middle of them asking whether or not her husband cheated. That's not where it started. Mm-hmm. So, let's start there. That's where Sutton needed to open up that mouth.
Right. Yeah, I agree, because it's basically saying, no, you're not going to make it seem like I'm just talking shit when your ass been coming for me. You've been coming for me. So don't make it seem...
It started in Vegas. Like, in Vegas happened before that weed dinner. So we're not going to act like... And that's the problem. That's why I'm like, bravo. Y'all could have easily went back to Vegas and said this is where it started. Because do I think Kyle had ill intentions when she walked into that bathroom to check on Sutton? No, I don't. No, but do I feel like she added to the cause of what everybody was thinking? Absolutely. She could have just deaded that shit. And when she went to her house, and this is where the name shit came, she tried to say, you pretty much lose it in ridiculous circumstances. And I'm like, Kyle, so do you.
Yeah.
The problem is no one holds you accountable when you do it.
Yeah, and she, honestly, I will talk about this when we get to the relationship a little bit later, but I think that separate from obvious things that cause the issue with her and Mauricio's relationship, we have to remember that things go both ways. I don't think it's just things that he's done to her. I think there is stuff that she may have done to him. I feel like the way that she can be with her friends, she may be like that with her husband as well. And if I was him, I'd want to cheat too, allegedly. Moving it along. Sutton said, not Sutton, I called Nia Sutton. I'm sorry. She said, name them. Name them. Now, when I tell you, Sutton has no clue how legendary she is. And on the part 2 of the reunion side, I was like, well, the name them thing. So you're aware that she got put on for that statement. Kyle is pretentious as hell. James is right. And I see it more and more.
She is. Like I told y'all from day one, I clocked that she was pretentious. That's why I stopped watching the show. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that was the first 2 episodes, right? That limo scene with that sister. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch it until season 5. Yeah. I did not watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills until season 5. Well, I did not like that lady.
I watched it through the times that you didn't. I've consistently watched the show. I am a little bit of a super fanatic with Beverly Hills, but I will say that if anyone who's watched from the beginning to the end to now, she just gets worse and worse season after season. So we do see a bunch of clips about, we see Kathy Hilton come out. I'm sorry. I don't know why Kathy is here. I understand that her name came up, but Kathy Hilton did 1 season of the Housewives of Beverly Hills as a friend of, and barely that. She pretty much just showed up and we watched the women brown nose and kiss her ass and things of that nature. She comes out in this terrible outfit that looked like something somebody's great grandmother is wearing to a church event or something. And the only thing that was funny is they asked her about the show. She's like, I don't watch any of these shows, any of you guys' shows. But I do watch What Happens Live because it goes by quickly. Kathy, stop. But we see the clips about Kathy and all the things that happened, which was nothing. So we basically saw a bunch of clips of them discussing Kathy. And Erica starts to explain why Kathy is afraid, or why the cast is afraid of Kathy, and how Kathy is at a certain level of eliteness in Beverly Hills, really in California. We want to be real. She is a certain level of eliteness where we just talked about this in a previous video. Segregation, I guess, in Cali really does exist. I can say that. I live here. It is strong. It's bad, and it's usually based on income. It really is. And people,
color. Yeah, we want to make sure we're clear. It's income, not color.
No, for real. It really is that way up here, especially. I think a good example is the Bay Area music scene as a whole. A lot of artists who are trying to come up here find it difficult and end up having to leave the Bay Area before they find success within their own local area, whereas other places might support you just because you're from there. It's not like that here, really. It's just a mess. So I do and can understand and appreciate Erica for telling the truth. Like, these women do kiss her ass and are afraid of her, which is concerning to me because Rick Hilton is the one who made the wealth and gave her the money. Kathy's a housewife. She really is a housewife. So I'm just kind of like looking like, why are they so scared? But I know money talks, especially here in Cali. But when explaining why people could be afraid of Kathy Hilton, Sutton falls out, starts shaking. The paramedics take her away because she has an extremely high blood pressure. Crystal said the blood pressure was as high as hers was when they were in Spain, and her systolic was 180 something, and diastolic was something over 100. That's not good. So if Sutton's blood pressure is that high, that's usually something you cannot fake. I didn't like the reactions to it. Now, Kathy, at first, I know people online are trying to attack her because she was like, it's probably a hot flash. She's 49. That's a fact, though. It could have been that. But Sutton had been complaining. If we go back to part 1 and 2 of this reunion, Sutton has been complaining, I feel really hot. And she is the one wearing the least amount of clothes on that stage. So I think that she probably was having issues. I know she did say after the fact she did not eat. You guys know they arrive at these reunions at like 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes earlier. She had not eaten all day. She had not drinking many beverages. And we know that Sutton is a lover of alcohol. So I think she was probably dehydrated and passed the fuck out personally. Or she had anxiety around Kathy. What do you think that it was, James?
I don't think it was anxiety around Kathy. I don't. Mm-hmm. I do think that it was, definitely a mosh posh of it being hot. She didn't eat, and and she had explained that she had been having these issues before the reunion had started, and she's been working a lot. She's a very busy lady. So, and she sits on the chair of a lot of different organizations. So I can imagine with her schedule that if she's not taking care of herself properly, then that it could, end up being one of those situations where she has high blood pressure and is probably very stressed out on a lot of different areas. What I did not like about Kathy Hilton, and this is where me and Kathy are going to part ways, because y'all know I love Kathy Hilton. I still do. I still do. But what I must say about Kathy, I know you did not have all that smoke for Sutton because of what she said to your sister. Because if that's the case, you need to be looking in the mirror, because you've done worse. So don't sit up there and try to talk about, oh, I was coming for her, so she got out of here before I could. That shit pissed me off.
Yeah. It pissed me off too, because obviously, I'm just gonna say this. Obviously, Kyle and Kathy are cool again. I think the only reason they're cool again is not because of a family thing. I don't think it's because of love. I think they're only cool again because Kathy's the oldest. I'm an oldest sibling of 4. And I think that even when you have beef with your siblings, if they are going through something, you will be there, even if they've had you fucked up. I do that for my siblings throughout life, and will continue to do that. I feel like, of course, them being sisters, there's a certain loyalty there. But I just feel like Kyle probably played damage control and was finally cooperative when we just a couple months ago, before this shit filmed, and the previous season, I don't want to talk to Kathy. I don't want to deal with Kathy. I'm holding strong. Hell, now suddenly you guys are back cool. It's just chummy. Now I understand you family. And so you always, to some extent, gonna deal with each other even when fuck shit happens, because that's what families do. But the timeline, and then Kathy being so willing to come and attack for certain things that she'll say that we're going to discuss later, it just felt like this was planned. And I guarantee you the wife of Rick Hilton is going to have media training or PR, do some type of damage to make their family appear to be something better. I'm just tired as a motherfucking.
I'm gonna say this. My thing is this: they came together for, I think, a few specific reasons. One being her separation from Mauricio.
Mm-hmm.
I think that played a huge part in why she's back in Kyle's life so strong. I don't think they're going to ever put that out there, but that's my opinion. This is allegedly. But no, I really feel like Mauricio was one of those reasons of why Kathy came around full-fledged this time.
I think so too. Because other than that, they've never Child, this family's a mess. Nia Gray says Kathy was not the reason Sutton has medical issues and caught the papers. She also said it was not cute, and Kathy came on full of herself. She did. She did.
Her sitting over there kikiing with Erica after you just called her out about her not, them earrings not being hers and that jewelry not being hers. Where was that at, Kathy? Because in my eyes, I would have just said you were fake if I didn't love you.
Yeah. Yeah. I here's the thing, Kathy Hilton, if you don't want to be on the show, stop coming to the fucking reunions. Bravo, you could take this money and put it into shows like Housewives of Potomac that don't have an after show because you guys claim it's a budget issue. We'll take the funds that you've given to Kathy Hilton to pay her and put that into that. Do something different. But I didn't care to see Kathy Hilton. I do think she has power and privilege. Her relationship with Kyle, I don't think it will ever be fully good, but I feel like because of what happened with Rick Hilton, which we'll discuss later, I definitely feel like that's a big reason why Kathy is talking to Kyle again. Because Mauricio gone, it's like, what reason do I have not to talk to her? Separate from that, Crystal and Erica are the two that admits that people in the group do kiss Kathy's ass because of her money and all of those things. But here's where I call bullshit, something else that seemed planned. Kathy swears that in their lives, she and Kyle have only had 3 big fights. Y'all gonna stop this rehearsing. We're white women and people are gonna believe us if we cry or act serious bullshit. Okay, I'm calling all of that shit out. Ain't no way in hell you bitches is damn near 60 years old and you've only had 3 arguments in your life. When since Kathy's existence and Kyle's existence on this show, even before Kathy was on it, we've seen Kyle talking about how Kathy doesn't want to speak to her, how she's having issues with Kyle. We've seen this a couple of seasons. So we know that you guys have had more than 3 arguments. And I don't understand why you feel like a number is going to like make us feel better about your relationship. Listen, I'll tell y'all from the end of time, my little sister, we have had countless arguments. Now, as we're older, they've actually lessened a lot because we've matured. People have their own lives. You ain't gonna tell me y'all just beefing like this only 3 times at your big ages. You are not gonna, if you have that much anger to where y'all are not speaking, that means that there's probably a bunch of big things that have happened to lead to you not speaking. So I don't believe Kathy.
Maya, I'm telling you, they are revisionist historians, all of them. When I tell you they like to rewrite that shit more than as if it's not playing right in our faces.
Even if there's video evidence.
Video evidence. I could clearly see that something in front of me is a white figurine. They would tell me it's yellow. I promise you, it's that serious. That's why I feel like for me, and I do have white friends. I do. I'm not gonna deny it.
I do too.
But my white friends are woke. They're not friends. They're not people who stutter the line because they're afraid of pissing off their grandmothers and ancestors. They understand, no, this shit ain't right. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. They are real with it. Now, the ones that are not, like the Kathy Hiltons of the world, who like to make themselves look a certain way because that's what they're taught. Their image is more important than their being. That is where we draw lines. And yes, they become revisionist historians, all of them. Because, correct me, am I wrong? Her and Kathy didn't have a relationship with years over Kim over that limo scene, the same limo scene. Am I not right about that?
You are correct. And then coming back, I believe in season 3, she had spoke about her again because Kathy was still upset about it and felt like Kyle should encourage Kim to come off the show.
Evidence of that.
Yes.
So that's where they be changing history and become a revision historian. It's like they sitting watching this shit. I just watched 2 white women just lie and act as if we don't have video evidence of them saying why Kathy was bad at Kyle from season 1 up until maybe season 10. Come on, we're not going to do this. She didn't even go to Nikki's wedding. She wasn't at Paris's wedding. Come on, we're not going to act like.
You don't just miss the weddings of your innocent nieces for 3 big fights. There has to be so much more that happens. You have not just offended your sister, you've offended her family. Because they still went to Kim's kids. Kim's kids is the neutral kids, okay? They said, listen, our mom already went through shit. We don't need no more drama. They seem to invite and be cool with their cousins and things like that. But I do notice that the family will entirely disconnect from Kyle, kids, cousins, and all. So I don't know. I feel like these people, these women specifically, what do I have in my fucking note? it seems like Kathy and Kyle rehearsed their little bullshit of the 3 fights. And I think it's to save the image of Kyle, because right now she is one of the more famous family members, is going to impact the image of the rest of them. So I don't trust any of the shit.
I don't trust it either. And that's crazy that you said that, because it shouldn't impact the rest of them, because one, Kathy Hilton has a bigger name.
She does.
What Kyle has. So it's really weird to me. It's almost like they're trying to cover up some other shit.
Oh, there's a lot. And 2, I believe it's Jen Buddy. She's not here now, but she watches some of our lives. She asked me to recap Buying Beverly Hills. So I'm going to start watching season 1 because it is coming on the 24th. But I'm curious to see the dynamic of that show, because sometimes when you see one part of the family on a show, another part on another show, and then you have, eventually we'll get to the bottom of things. I think this is just a family that should not be on television. All they do is argue. They have so much dysfunction. These white people got more problems than black folk in the hood. I'm just saying. They do. I'm like, how? People, listen, ain't no way. But they do say more money, more problems. So maybe it's a thing. Right. So speaking of Mauricio, they move on to discuss things that Mauricio has said about Rick Hilton. Mauricio, I've seen clips of the new season of Buying Beverly Hills. Mauricio is not giving a fuck and is speaking out. I don't think that Mauricio has liked Rick Hilton. I think they've probably had like some serious beef, but probably haven't done nothing with it, probably off the strength for Kyle and Kathy. But I guess Kathy says that Rick Hilton supported Mauricio and his career. They did. They gave him a job. They gave him his start. He really didn't have shit prior to that. Now, the thing of it is, Kathy says that when Mauricio wanted to expand and create his own company, because I guess he had a company within a company, which is very normal. MIZZES B3ST is a company within a company. It's part of B3ST Entertainment. So I get that part. But he said, expand. You don't have to work with us. Just don't take my clients. Don't steal my clients and my money from me, which is fair. So I guess Mauricio still took clients with him, and that's what upset Rick Hilton and Kathy. I've heard this story in a variation of times, even before Kyle was on the Housewives, because my mom used to be in the Hiltons. But I've heard this story a few times. And one thing I will say is Kathy and Rick's story for what happened does not change. But Mo and Kyle's story on the situation changes constantly. When they ask Kyle about it, Kyle says, as she does, because this is the reunion of deflection, and she doesn't want to get into that. She doesn't want to go backwards and have it cause a problem. Kyle is just avoiding the truth. But I'm going to say this, without saying much, it did give Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's another housewife franchise that I watch. Avid fan, love Housewives of New Jersey. But something that's making me sick of it is there is Teresa Giudice, and then she has Melissa Gorga, who's her sister-in-law, and Joe Gorga, her brother. They are all on the same show together, and the seasons become about like their family drama. I feel like because New Jersey's been able to be successful with that, they might try to do that shit over here. This is not like New Jersey people. I don't care to see these pretentious bitches arguing over their billions of dollars. When at the end of the day, Rick Hilton is successful and Mauricio Umansky is successful. So why are you guys still mad about some shit from back in the day?
That's why I said when you're Kyle and you're pretentious, you are so worried about your image that you don't want nothing that can taint it. And Kathy did spill the beans on this reunion, which we already knew. But the problem is that that's going to cause another problem when Kyle gets home. So that's why she didn't want to talk about it. That's why she tried to dead that shit. And that's the problem. Yeah. That is the problem. The problem is that you keep trying to mask the shit that will make y'all look bad. That in reality, if we're looking at the standpoint of business, it was business. If I got these clients to your business, I have the right to take them with me because it doesn't avoid my contract.
Here's the thing. If they didn't want him to do that, and the only reason I know this, I was a manager at a pet store for many years, and they have groomers, right? So the groomers, I legally cannot say the name of the store. So I apologize to those who want to know. Legally, if I do, they will come after my ass, okay? But why? Kathy ran her whole not brand the mouth, the teeth, and the gums. But what happened in that store is the groomers, because it's sales. So essentially all sales to some extent is the same. This was grooming, so it's sales. So they were paid commission based. The company that I worked for, even though it was just a retail company, when I would hire people on, I had to have them sign what's called a no compete clause. Basically, it is basically a document that is saying if you leave this company, you cannot take the customers from us, and or you cannot go and start your own company with the skills that we paid for you to have, essentially. So this is something that's common even in retail, sales of cars. It don't matter. It's very common, non-complete clauses. People know about them all the time. So I don't understand why the Hiltons, who are billionaires, didn't know or have somebody to advise them to do that, especially if it mattered. Or maybe
that wasn't really that. Non-compete agreements were only in certain businesses. They weren't in real estate. Okay. So yeah, real estate didn't start doing that to maybe 2008, 2009. Where they had non-compete agreements. Yeah, that's a very new thing, because the problem is, back when real estate was like, it's very popular now, but back when it was developing, real estate, realistically, you didn't belong to certain companies. You kind of floated, because if you wanted to show the house, then you would work for this company to be able to get the keys to the house to be able to show it. And if you sold it, boom, you could have worked for 3 different companies at one time. Nowadays, you can't do that, because that company has to get that bank, loan for the commission. So it has to stay in business. That's why compete agreements are now in void now, or now here, because back then, realtors were basically their own business entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So now it's way different. I know you got to get certain licensures to even work for yourself now in California, at least. So it's
well, the thing about it is that's why a lot of people open up their own real estate practices and then just partner up with, like Keller Williams or somebody, because directly that's not a compete agreement. You own your own business. You're just partnering with them to strengthen your business. And then at some point, it's like a lease. It'll eventually end, and then you'll have to build your own business again. Yeah, so I wish they did that for publishing companies and stuff like that, because it's hard out here.
Either way, I feel like they can't be mad. Like, y'all both rich as hell. Get over it. But as he said, they're pretentious. So they move on to Kyle and Mauricio and the topic of the split. And basically, Andy Cohen asked, what event caused things to change in the relationship for you and Mauricio? And Kyle could not really answer this question. All she said was time and trust. Something happened that broke her trust, and just she feels like they grew apart throughout time. Kyle, what did he do to break your trust? Okay. Did he max out the Amex? Did he forget to take out the dog's poop? Did he forget to pick up a child from a practice, a school? Did he call your sister a name? Did he have an argument with Paris Hilton? Like, what did he do to break your fucking trust? The thing I don't like that this bitch Kyle is doing is you don't want nobody in your business. And the best way to keep people out your business sometimes is to either say absolutely nothing, or when you do say something, to be clear and direct and concise with your answers.
Or you could do us all a favor and get the fuck off this reality show.
Please leave. Thank you. Because it's
I'm going to say this, because you brought up a good point. What did he do exactly? Because you were flaunting this man in our faces, talking about how lucky you were and how amazing he is and all of this, to now, all of a sudden, this season saying he betrayed my trust and there's certain things that he did that are just unforgivable. And yes, he's out there with this woman, that woman. And I didn't want him to do Dancing with the Stars because I didn't want him to be all up on somebody. And it was like,
I'm sick of Kyle. It doesn't make sense. She could not answer questions. And Andy Cohen does mention, like, are the rumors of infidelity true? And I was happy. The one thing Andy did right is he said, since the beginning of this show's existence, these rumors have been about. And I feel like Andy wanted to say, since before you were on the show, these rumors were about. And that's probably why NBC wanted her ass on the show. But they can't say that for obvious legal reasons. But Andy pretty much calls out the bullshit. It's like, have these rumors been an impact? And yes, Naya, Allison Dubois did say that she will never satisfy her. And with the way Kyle reacted to it, because I've never thought Kyle and Mauricio had a good marriage. I felt like they would stay together because
like when I came in watching season 5, that's when I started to see some shit.
Yeah, there was lots of cracks in that foundation, especially when Kim, even though drunken mind, sober thoughts, y'all. I truly believe that. And the shit that Kim was saying about Mauricio in that limo too, that's why Kyle lost her shit. So they're not all innocent. I think that they definitely have had these rumors and issues prior to ever being on the show, which honestly, a lot of couples who are together as long as these two, where they're essentially not just together, but growing up together, and then involved with that, they got kids. So they probably didn't even know they didn't like each other until the kids grow up, which is really common. And
it's extremely common because the problem is that over that time change, when you're elevating and growing, you don't realize you're growing 2 different directions. And that's why I feel like, even though you're married, sorry, I have sirens going on in my background, but even when you're married to somebody like for years and years and years, always act. And that's why I say you don't really know somebody, even when you've been with somebody for 50 years. You don't know them. You know who they were when you met them and who you married. But over time, find something to learn about them, because that's really going to be the telltale of whether or not you should stay or not.
Yeah, I am still learning stuff about my spouse and vice versa. And I feel like there's no way to know all of a person when you meet them, or even like I've been with my dude 15 years now. Just because you've been with someone a certain length of time doesn't mean you know everything, because people are constantly changing, people are constantly evolving. You have to really ask the questions and find stuff out to get to that point. So I agree with you. If you're not still learning stuff about your spouse, to me, that tells me you're not interacting or talking to them, and that's not a good thing. So, I'll leave it there with that. But Kyle does say that the rumors started to slowly chip her trust away over the years and has made her insecure. Half of that, I believe. I don't think rumors are going to make you insecure. I think if there's fire that's causing that smoke, though, that is going to confirm your need to feel insecure. And I do believe her when she says that part, because Kyle was somebody who, in the beginning of the season, pretentious or not, valued her long hair and didn't care for plastic surgery and all these things. But as the more rumors come out, if we look at through the length of this show, now the girl can't keep needles out her face, is constantly working out, doing all these crazy things. So, it is what it is. So they do mention, as James talked about, Dancing with the Stars. And they bring it up because there's a dance that was, I think it was the samba. It was one of them romantic dances or something. And I watched Dancing with the Stars, right? And they always, the way the show works is they tell them like, okay, tonight, this is the type of dance. This is the type of dance. So first of all, I want there to be clarity. Most of the people that episode had done some type of steamy dance. 1. 2, people do these dances all the time on Dancing with the Stars. You can tell when people have chemistry. You can fucking tell. I do song reviews with my spouse and music reactions, and people will comment on the live. Y'all just, I can sense your energy. We could tell y'all together. Like little stuff like that. People can tell. The energy that Mauricio had on that dance, I said, he ain't touched Kyle like that since season 2. So I can definitely understand why Dancing with the Stars would bother her. We also discussed the fact that Mauricio has been spotted out on trips and holding hands with his Dancing with the Stars partner, Emma. So I'm going to say this. A man, I know a lot of people are like, he's in crises, he's older, and he's losing his woman. I'm going to tell y'all this. Mauricio's been getting compliments from women for 13 seasons on this fucking show. And even though a man may show it differently than a female, that man knows that he is something that women want. I think that he knows that. He had a lot of comfort too, holding hands and kicking it and some other stuff with his Dancing with the Stars partner, who is the age of one of his daughters, by the way. And I just can't see him suddenly being interested in somebody that young. So I do think that stuff has been happening with that. But I don't know why we're talking so much about Mauricio at the reunion when we want to know about Mauricio and Kyle, because all the things we've seen Mauricio do are the things that he's done after Kyle. I want to know what he did while with Kyle that caused him to break up? I want to know. Maybe I'm nosy. But don't you want to know like what actually happened? And I feel like you're on a show about your life.
We'll never know because once again, when you're pretentious, if that's what happens, you're trying to conceal any negative image that you would have a part in the demise of that marriage. She is going to protect herself by all means necessary. And that is the problem that I have with Kyle, just in a general sense. It's like, look, life is not always pretty. Life can be ugly. Life can be, in place. Life can be unfair. Life can be judgmental. Life can be a million other things. But it's not for you if you're going to put yourself on public display. It is not for you to then try to hide and conceal the things that we clearly, evidently can see. We can see they had cracks in their marriages. But the problem is that her image would not allow her to show it. So she's going to seep in and say, it's nothing. We're perfect. Everything's perfect. We're fine. No, everything is great. He's amazing. And then when the shit got tough, now you still want to protect it. It's like, man.
Make up your mind. None of your kids are small enough to where this would like harm their development as people. Like, let us know what's good or leave the fucking show.
It's probably going to harm them in other ways because what they're probably going to do is they're going to probably go along to get along with the people they end up with when shit is fucked up.
Child, what a mess.
I can appreciate it. Like, my mom got the fuck on when shit was crazy.
You know what? I will say that about my mom too. When it went crazy, she was fucking done. And she never looked back.
She said exactly what it was to me. So then well, not everything. It was like much later, but now I understand it now as an adult. And I'm still learning it more and more as I go through my own situations. The problem with me is that I don't have very many long-lasting relationships for me to really learn what my triggers are. And I think that that's just the demise of me. I kind of smell funny shit and just get the fuck on. And that's just kind of what it is, and not really internalize it. To say, okay, what was funny? Don't just run from it. What was the problem? Yeah. So I have to internalize that, and that takes a lot of therapy. But I'm just like, girl, for her to have a whole fucking segment about this, it was just
I mean, this is essentially. I apologize. We're 37 minutes in, y'all. We are halfway through this recap, but unfortunately, most of what we're going to discuss is going to be about Kyle. And listen, Kathy tried to say, well, maybe Sutton ran away because she didn't want me to come for her. You could have only come for Sutton a little bit. She only commented on you a little bit. You can only say so much. Like, I love my sister. That's it. If I was Sutton, I would have got the fuck on too instead of sitting through it, because I think everyone knew they're just going to be sitting there while they talk the fuck about Kyle. So
I think that would have made me more mad.
Yeah.
If Kathy really came after Sutton the way she said she was going to,
she would have got canceled.
It would have made me mad. I would have, when I tell you, I would have been on Twitter. I don't even have a Twitter. I would have created one and cussed her the fuck out on Twitter, because it was all like, first of all, your sister came for her first. Yeah. And we're not going to act like she didn't. Mm-hmm. And your sister does not give on the show. So the fact that she said you already lost one sister, you want to lose another one, that's what she's mad at. It was that comment. She's mad at that comment. You already lost one sister. Well, she did. Didn't you cut her off when her and the other sister was in the back of the fucking limo and you didn't talk to her? That's what you did. Aren't you and Kyle not speaking at that time that she was at that fucking weed dinner?
See, they want to talk about their family on TV the way that they want, but then if anybody, even the castmates, has something to say that makes sense, they don't want them to say it. It's just a control thing. Nia Green says she with us and to tell us the tea regarding Kyle and Mauricio, like, why are y'all not together? So getting back to they asses, Andy Cohen then says that the fans have been asking a lot of questions, and he reads a fan question. And shout out to the fan that even submitted this question to Twitter or for Bravo and all of that, because I think it was the quickest way to sum up how everybody feels about Kyle without disrespecting her in a way that's appropriate for the show. So she can't go and say, oh, you guys are attacking me. And this fan says, and Andy read it, Kyle is dancing around the reason for the split from Mauricio. Are you ever going to tell us why? And Kyle's response is, it's nobody's fucking business. Then, bitch, get your nasty looking ass up off this show.
Right. I was like, how fucking dick. First of all, you are paid millions of dollars to be on the show to tell your fucking business.
Separate from that, I think a lot of fans will feel this way. Let me tell you something, ho. I got DirecTV. And before that, I had YouTube TV. And they both got similar pricing. But I am paying money, whether it's Philo, whether people watching on YouTube, we are paying fucking money and turn on this show to see the reality of your life on my TV. So you don't get to tell us it's none of our fucking business. You don't get to. Oh, this cat just scared the hell out of me. He's got a. He wasn't in the room. He just jumped up. But Kyle has to stop. You have to stop. It doesn't make any sense that you come on TV to showcase your life. And then when you have to showcase a piece of your life that's not perfect, now suddenly it's none of our fucking business. Well, if you ever wanted to redeem yourself from the lies and the bullshit and the skating around, it's going to be very difficult for Kyle after this reunion. The way that she's getting dragged online is different. I agree, Naya. And Kim seems to have connected what Naya said. And I think that's why Kim is able to find healing now. They mama did a number on them. Big Kathy,
absolutely.
Watch the documentary. She was.
I'm gonna watch it now because I need to know. Because I tell you, every time I think about when y'all call her Big Kathy, I think of Boss Hogg's wife from Dukes of Hazzard. That's no. Every time I know that's not what she looks like, but I'm just saying.
She did not. They called her Big Kathy for a reason. She was big, so that's that. But the things that she had her kids in, the situations that they were in, the pressure that she put on them, the way that she treated them and talked to them, it quite literally was abusive. There's documentaries on it. I encourage everybody to watch. And I think that that's why all the sisters struggle and are messy, because it's all they know and we know what we are taught. So stop it. Get down. Sorry. Pet. Apologies, y'all. But yeah, I think that's what the issue is. But Kyle says it's none of our fucking business. And then they get to the bullshit of, well, is someone going to move out? Because I don't think Kyle realized like the type of questions that were asked were because you've told us nothing, to where people don't know if you're going to separate. People don't know if you are divorced. People just know you ain't together right now, but you're still living together.
Even still, like, there's a lot of people who are huge fans of her. Like, and I don't know why, but whatever. But there are people who are huge fans of her, I feel like, who have championed you on this show and has probably kept you on this show all these seasons, that were, they feel like they're owed an explanation, because there's people who probably believe that you were a lucky woman and got a really great man who was not only very attractive at the time that you showcased him to us, but also was attentive in a way that most men were not. So I feel like you owed it to those women or men or whoever envied your situation to say, why did the demise happen? What caused it? Because from our eyes, we only saw you two being perfect. Why was it not perfect? And all you simply had to say was, you know what? Time tells all tales. It just no longer works anymore. Yeah. That's just really what it is. You know, I'm a different person now that I'm in my 50s. He's a different person. We're just moving into a different direction now that our kids are grown. That answer is all you need to say. And that's believable because we see a lot of relationships end in that way.
Especially with how busy he's been prior to the separation even being, like, us even knowing it was coming. It's like, that's something that was realistic. But when you don't know how to tell the truth, or have spent most of your life telling a bulk of lies or hiding things, you're going to continue doing that. She does say, though, that eventually Mauricio will be moving out, which in my opinion makes sense. He's the one that's a realtor. She's the one that wanted that fucking ugly farmhouse in Beverly Hills. So I think it's appropriate that the realtor, because he can easily find somewhere to go. Hell, he could probably sit in one of his properties if he wanted to. So he has options, but I don't think he's going to move out. I don't know why. I just don't buy it. With Kyle and Mauricio right now, anything that happens, I don't care. If you're going to break up, break up. If you're going to get back together, get back together. But the only thing I care about is either you're moving back in, or you're getting back together, or I want to see divorce papers. I don't even want to see like the filing, because I feel like Kyle is the type of person that would file for divorce and then not get divorced. You know what I mean? And I don't want to deal with that. I feel like she would Brooke Bailey us, and I don't want to deal with it.
I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on my mind. I feel like she will file, but I just feel like what she's going to do is she's going to save it for next year's storyline, that she's filing for divorce and how he's this horrible person. There's going to probably be some cheating allegations, allegedly. And I don't
think Mauricio's a horrible person, but I do think he likes and is comfortable with women. And I think that infidelity
Honestly,
is the main cause of it. Because
I've thought this about him, but I just never really had the place. I think he likes the fame and the money, and I think that that's really what was the draw to her. I do, and I felt like for me, and that's no shade to him because a lot of people love money. A lot of people want nice things. I would love nice things. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not. And if I could find a way to get to it, I would. But the problem is that there's no access for a lot of us. And I think that for him, the access, the power, I think that that's what he thrived on. I think that he loved the fact that her sister was married to a billionaire and that it was all of these opportunities that they could provide because he's family. Cat said it out her own mouth on this stage.
No shade, but I've always agreed with that. And once I found out who Kyle Richards was the sister of, because I don't know how to say this without getting canceled or in trouble. When people saw the first season of Housewives of Beverly Hills and looked at these women, we understood Taylor's husband. We understood Lisa Vanderpump's husband. We understood Adrian and Paul. But Kyle and Mauricio, no shades of Kyle. It was, how do I say this without getting in trouble? He looked a little bit out of her league in terms of looks, just being super like shallow. But I feel like, oh, okay, because I'm just like Kyle, no shade, and I think that's why she's doing the surgery. She aging like a certain type of. Some people's stuff does crack.
You know what I said? That's not Kyle and Mauricio was not that uncommonly seen in California because
they're not though. They're really not.
Usually, yeah, it comes with other stipulations. I don't think this was their stipulation, but it comes with other stipulations if you know other countries.
It was definitely giving what I will say without being disrespectful. Y'all know I recap 90 Days of Single Life. I'll be recapping it after this live for those who watch TLC. Kyle gives me that. In the beginning, they could have went on it. Even though he is from here, but it just gives me that it was off. But Kathy does say that Kyle has been off for 3 years. And I think when she... Oh, yeah. Naya, take a time out. Wait, you not go. Naya sat quietly for a little while.
Right, I didn't even think she was still with us. I did not think she was still with us.
I'm doing it, and then Naya go. She said Kyle looked like the Grandma Willow from Pocahontas. You can own this earth until you can paint with all the colors. I love that.
That wasn't Mama Wilma. She said, "Wait, what you will understand."
Obviously, like Disney. I'm in a Lion King shirt too, so look at that shit. But
yeah, I can't unsee it now, Naya. I do not. I can't with you, Naya.
If you're my Disney fans felt what Naya just said, though. That was a good.
That was excellent.
That was a good comparison.
That was excellent.
If you got Disney Plus, go watch Pocahontas. I don't think they made a live action yet, but
I wouldn't want to see that. I would not want to see Pocahontas live. I would not.
I still prefer all the original Disney movies over the live action.
Because I cannot see Grandmother Willow live like that. I would freaking like it. She was scary enough as a kid.
Maybe they'll hire Kyle to play her. She's an actress. And if she favors somebody.
Good night.
All right.
Good night. I'm not
Jessica
doing this.
Biel played Candy. I'm just saying. Yeah. Hey. I'm sorry. Y'all, I like anything that's like the murder mysteries, true crime. I love that shit. I don't know why, but I do. Anywho, Kathy says Kyle's been off for 3 years, kind of inferencing that Kyle's probably been going or heading in the direction of splitting up for some time, which I can believe because if we look at Beverly Hills for 3 years, Kyle has acted a fool and has noticeably made a big change in her behaviors and all of that. She does say that she and Mauricio have trouble saying the word divorce. I don't know. I'm different. I've never filed for divorce. I have not. But I feel like I've used the word. I sure have used the word. Like, nigga, if you can't do what I need you to do this reasonable and not extra, then that's what the fuck gonna happen. But I haven't actively filed, so I don't know. Kyle hasn't filed either, but it sounds like they're not even using the word divorce. But at the end of the day, you've told the world that you're separated and all of these things. If you're going to tell the public that you're not going to be together, then you need to know if it's truly a separation or if you're going to head towards divorce, or you need to tell us. Now, I understand you can't tell us when you're going to file for legal reasons, but if y'all are still friends, as you say, I mean, he running around Aspen with other hoes and you running around kissing country bitches in videos, then I don't know why they don't just like stay together and just have an open marriage. Because what are y'all doing? We don't know what y'all are doing with Kyle and Mauricio. So I don't know. Do you have any comments on that before we move on to more Kyle?
No.
I can't believe that we're going to discuss
like
Kyle.
I'm already exhausted of this. Like
it's so much.
Right.
She says Kathy forced Kyle to talk, and she did. By saying the 3-year comment, I peeped that night. She did kind of force Kyle to talk. And because I think Kathy understands, Kathy's been in the limelight in the public eye longer than Kyle and Kim and all of that. They was on Little House on the Prairie years ago when TV was black and white. So I feel like the one who's actually had a longer length of time being in the public eye is Kathy. And I think she knows that sometimes you have to give a little to be left alone a little bit. But Kyle doesn't get that at all. So, you know, we can only do what Kyle will listen to. She said Kyle don't want that man.
Which is why I believe more happened that she's not alluding to. Like, I want to know what it is. Because as I say, you dangled this man in front of our face as if it was a new pair of earrings. Like, I need to understand what he did.
James is not taking his foot off of Kyle's neck.
I'm not, because I need to know. Like, honestly, and it better not be no goofy shit.
I don't think it is goofy. I think for any person in a marriage to make the decision to exit it, something happened. Because something
had to have happened. Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. Something had to,
because out of nowhere. And she said, I want to try and wait for at least my youngest to go to college, and you couldn't wait for that. After saying that, something fucking happened, and we are not stupid, Kyle. My God. So we move on to Morgan Wade, who's a country singer that Kyle's been, I'm gonna say, dating allegedly. Kyle says that Morgan has not seen the show and that the scrutiny was a lot for Morgan. Morgan is young. Morgan Wade is not old like Kyle. Kyle's 50 plus. This is somebody closer to James's age, and so I doubt that she hasn't seen the show. Most of these shows, like Housewives of Beverly Hills, Atlanta, a lot of the original Housewife shows that are older were around when people Morgan's age were like younger. And
I'll put it to you this way. I feel like Morgan saw the show after she met Kai.
Ooh, after.
I feel like this. I feel like she watched the show after she met, because let me tell you, women do their research on what they get attached to. They look at the ins, they look at the outs, and your advantage is she can see you for the last 10 years of your life. So I'm sorry. Yeah.
I don't see why you would deal with somebody. I do agree with what you're saying, because with all the scrutiny you get online, it would make me want to look at the show. Like, well, why is everybody freaking out? I don't get that. Maya Agree says, I watched the live and someone said Morgan sound like Tommy Pickles from
Naya. I need some water.
Now I want to like share my screen and go to YouTube and listen. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, I gotta do some.
I cannot. You really just said that. She said that one wasn't me, I swear. Naya, now you know in previous recaps when Kyle's like, Morgan is an amazing vocalist. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm Black. When I think of an amazing vocalist, I think of, hell, I won't use Black people. Sia, the chandelier singer. I think of people outside.
No, but I think of an amazing vocalist like, what was the girl that do the Frozen songs? So Let It Go.
Oh, Adina.
Yes. That girl could blow. Like I'll give you that one.
Morgan?
No.
Singing about
Morgan
her little daffodil and her new love that she found while in the truck leaving the mill. I listen.
Hell, even Kelly Pickler sounds better.
Kelly Pickler could sing. No, I voted for her once.
Yes, but I'm just saying. But her accent gets in the way of her tone a lot of her songs. So it kind of, and that's what I feel like Morgan has the same thing going on. But I feel like it's
an episode of Rugrats though where Tommy sang a country song and it does sound just like I can't. Whoever said that, Naya, on the live, I don't know what live you was watching, but that's actually accurate. I loved Rugrats. I still watch Rugrats sometimes, and I'm gonna tell you that's actually accurate. Lord, Andy Cohen.
I was a weird ass cartoon kid. See, I didn't watch Rugrats and shit. I watched Daria.
That's what you prefer?
That's what because to me, I was always grown. I was never really a kid.
So I've always been this way.
I've always been grown. So for me, Daria and like As Told by Ginger, like the shows where they were
As Told.
Yeah, like those were like my shows as like I'm like not 5, 6, 7 watching these like grown ass shows. Yes. I didn't watch Rugrats like that. I did, but it wasn't. I didn't watch Rugrats until the dad married the Japanese lady. Yes, that's when I started watching it. I watched it then.
At its peak, so that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes, that's when I watched it.
I am the oldest of 4 siblings, so even I remember when Dora came on TV, them Backyardigans with the little Tyrone and.
My brother watched As Told by Ginger and Daria like I did. Like we watched that together. He didn't have a choice. And Daria is I actually know Daria on DVD.
I love the little theme songs.
Oh yes, I used to sing that shit like
Macy Gray. Good. Now I want to watch TV and I can't. But
years, I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Child, I really do. Y'all know I like to smoke my little California legality. And I sure will roll up something and start watching some old shows because that's just what I do. And my husband lets me, so leave me alone, y'all. I'm gonna grow up one day, but I am 31 and I do pay rent. Separate from that, Andy asked the group basically if they think that Kyle and Morgan are together or look like she's singing singing the themes, Lord.
That's the Daria theme song.
I know. I watched the Daria. I'm just like, I never heard anyone like, I preferred it. I was like, huh. Yeah. But it makes sense because those were the shows that were more like relatable to what
she was like, and that not to mention they were extremely smart and like use like so much logic and common sense. I think that's why it relates to me, logic and common sense.
He's always been. See, that's how you know our personality. Psychology says your child's personality will pretty much stay the same and then they're mature. That's proof. Cartoons today are stress me out. But the group, when asked if they think Morgan and Kyle are together, Crystal said yes. She thought that they looked that way. And this is where I wish Sutton and Garcelle were there. And this is why people don't really care for Dorit. People don't care for Annemarie. And people don't care for Kyle. They are dick riders or they do what they think we're going to like. If Sutton and Garcelle was there, they would have said yes right next to Crystal. And I mean, I was glad that Doris did tell the truth. Y'all know we call Dorit Doris on this channel because that's probably really her name. But Crystal said she thought that Kyle and Morgan were together. And then Kyle tries to interrupt and was like, oh, yeah, because of the tabloids, right? Because she's on damage control. And Crystal, activated Crystal, who's now speaking her mind, said, no, I thought that way before. And Kyle just, if you look, you saw her just kind of look down and Kathy grab her hand because it's like, and why was Kathy still on this couch? I feel like Kyle refused to do this reunion without a sibling because why was Kathy there at this point? We're done discussing you. So why is your opinion needed? You're not a housewife. You're not a friend of, you're just Kyle's sister and Rick's wife. Why are you here? But I did appreciate Crystal saying that Doris, when asked, said they did look like girlfriends. Doris, I don't like you, but I think Doris has figured out Kyle is not a friend or loyal to her no more. And so she may as well tell the truth to at least save her spot on this show. Though I think it's too little too late. And I demand, Bravo, in your call center, a thug is addressing you. I demand immediately that this woman be let go. Okay. I don't care if we can make her a voluntary quit. Okay. We can make her an involuntary resignation. We can terminate her. I don't give a damn what we do. We can even give her unemployment. Just get her the fuck off our TV screens. Please. I stand by that with Doris. There's nothing she can do, in my opinion, at this point that's going to save her. Annemarie comes with her bullshit and defends Kyle. She is the only one that says she thinks that Kyle and Morgan are friends. And this bitch Annemarie in her long face goes as far to say that, you know, it's nice to have a girlfriend that cares about you and thinks about you. Let me tell y'all this. I have girlfriends. Shout out to Leona. That's one of my best friends. Known her for many years. I'm gonna tell you this. When I go to her house just to kick it, I will get in the bed with her under the covers. And we will sit next to each other and smoke and watch TV. And it's just that. Nothing weird, right? I know that if I'm sad about something, she'll be there. I know she cares about me. I care about her, vice versa. But I'm not going to kiss her in a music video, even if it's just for show. That's weird to me. I'm going to keep my friends. I'm not going to hold her hand, take pictures with her like I would with my man. And these are the things that Kyle is doing. So for Annemarie to try and compare friendship to the bullshit that's happening with Morgan irked my soul personally. Nia Green says, Andy, let her be Kyle's ally. The only way we can get her to talk. So Kathy showed up for an episode. I agree. And who asked 8.5?
That was what I was about to say. No one, who the fuck cares what she thinks?
Bravo, apparently.
Like, yeah, and apparently she was asked back. Like, that's
of course she was. You said that she would be in a previous when we talked about it. And she
I know I did, but I was hoping to be wrong.
James.
I wanted to be wrong. I wanted someone to say, well, James, you're wrong. I'm like, good, because I didn't want her on the show anyway. But yeah,
Annemarie's going to come back because I noticed with Beverly Hills, whenever Kyle's side gets to where more people disagree with Kyle, they suddenly hire someone on who does agree with Kyle. It's annoying, but that's just what they seem to do. But Annemarie, if you want to come back and get dragged, boo, I will look happy to recapping and talking shit about you season 14 because we will be here. I will happily drag Annemarie. If she wants to come on TV, then come on TV because I know she's probably going to have to stay on TV because the medical community don't respect her.
Well, see, I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna be like this. I'm gonna give her a fair chance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give her a fair chance
because she could do better.
But if she sticks with this fuck shit, when I tell you D- will get all the smoke from me.
D-.
Don't get all the smoke.
You called her a D-. That's shadier than 8.5 because does that grade even exist?
It's on one of my report cards. I know I can pull it up.
He said, I got a D-. That's damn near an F. What the hell? Lord. I've had report cards like that too because I was out.
I was going to say, I lived senior years when at the last minute because usually that's how I used to roll. Yes. Yeah, before then, yes, junior year was some bullshit. The senior year, I made up for graduated with a 3.4.
Hey. Everybody gets a bad grade. If it's high school, doesn't matter. If it were college, I'd be like, now we pay him for this shit. I was so afraid to get a bad grade in college because I felt like I have to pay for this. So I should at least do better. So yeah, there's that. But I think I failed PE once at Mount Eden. So I was like, I told y'all to move me to dance.
I was lucky, but I failed one of the damn classes.
So Andy then mentions that Kyle made Morgan Wade a household name, which I agree. Nobody knew who the fuck this lady was prior. I listen to country music. I know James listens to country music. I got new country artists on my fucking phone right now in Spotify saved. I've never heard of Morgan Wade. And you know how on Spotify, you like this song, recommended, and they'll recommend same genre. I've never.
She never came up on my timeline either. And I told you I had a Leanne Rimes phase for work one day. And it was just random. They were playing all Leanne Rimes songs. And then they played, I heard Shania Twain. I heard even Sheryl Crow was on there. Sheryl Crow was in a whole different genre. So it was yeah, she did not come up with my recommendations.
Yeah. I don't know, but I do think that Kyle has made Morgan more of a household name. I do think Kyle probably found her music or something, but she mentions the music video where they kissed. And Kyle gone bullshit. She told us another lie. She says that I did not think or know the type of video it was going to be. But then they show videos of Kyle dressed up for the video and ready and understanding and apparently joking.
You mean to tell me that your lawyer didn't read the contract to you about what you're going to be doing in this music video? You really want us to believe that she just called you up on the phone one day and said, hey, show up at this location. I'm doing a music video. I want you to be
bullshitting.
Right. Like, we really going to believe that in Hollywood, in Beverly Hills, in Southern California, that you did this without a contract. And y'all, I'm going to tell you something. In these contracts, they do put a kiss in the contract clause. They do.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't sexually harass them in the music video. That's why they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle thinks people are fucking stupid. That's the problem.
She does. And I think that's her frustration. Right now, she's back to, in my opinion, I hope everybody keeps their foot on Kyle's neck, because if they do, I think that next season we'll finally see her ass crack a little bit, but I don't think she'll ever tell the truth. She does admit that she was curious about kissing a girl and says that Morgan is hot. And she's like, well, of course, that's why I agreed to do it, because I was kind of curious. So
whatever, lady. You the girl.
Let me tell you this. I think people of all different, sexualities, genders, all that will agree. If you like men, and you usually know, whether you admit it or not. That's not the topic we're getting into. But if you like men, you usually know. If you like girls, you usually know. Even if you don't tell anybody. If you like both, you usually know. Especially if you're at Kyle's big age. If this is something that you were curious about, then say that. But if I'm curious about kissing a girl, I know she meant bi-curious, but that's my thing. If you're bi-curious, why are you going to go and be curious with your friend? Why don't you go find somebody else? So that to me made it seem like there's probably more going on between Kyle and Morgan, because she's probably bi-curious. So, then it started to make sense, basically, by her saying that. Do you think that she is bi-curious? I feel like she told on herself making that one statement.
No, this is for straight pretentious looks. I don't believe any of it.
I will say, if Morgan is not someone who dates or even likes women, then why would you say something like that, or not strike down like, oh no, we're not dating, she's straight? We've not heard that once.
I think Morgan is definitely LGBT. If I ain't never seen her before in my life, she definitely is. I think Kyle thinks she's fun and free in a way that she isn't. Because you have to understand, Kyle is pretentious. Even if she wanted to do it, she's not going to allow herself to do it. So overall, what I'm going to say is this. I don't believe she's into Morgan like that. I don't. And I believe that I think she likes the fun and freedom that Morgan has.
It is live, Shonique. It is live.
Yeah, you live. You're live.
We are here. Wait, yes, it is. She said, I gotta figure it out. You have made it. This is actually the doctor, I believe, that commented telling us that. Maurice, Lord, help us, Lord. Welcome. I'm glad that you made a live, especially being it's the last Beverly Hills live. So welcome. She said it is me. She's typing. She got fingers. Wait a minute. I can't type that fast. But yeah, Nia Green said, I don't know why she would entertain it unless to make Mauricio jealous. I think that Kyle is trying to make Mauricio jealous, but I don't think that Mauricio gives a fuck. I don't know why I feel that way. I just don't feel like he cares.
No, because while she's doing this, he's doing a few of his own, allegedly.
He's been acting a fool. Now, I knew, Mauricio liked to puff the devil's grass, but I did not. He's been wilding out in real life.
It's crazy because it's aging him. Like I tell people, sometimes that's not good for a lot of people to do it because it ages you.
To party constantly? Hell no, it is not. I agree with you there.
It's aging him because I used to think he was really attractive, but I don't think he's attractive anymore. I just don't.
I never thought Mauricio was attractive. I felt like he had enough swag to where he could get it. Like I feel like he's a smooth talker, if that makes sense. Which would make sense because he's in sales. So I don't know. But I don't know. I did always feel like he's too attractive for Kyle, though. That's bad. I'm not gonna say that again though, because I know that's mean. James is like, I don't care. You know it's true too.
Yeah, I know it's true, but I'm just saying, like, and it's not. I'm not saying Kyle's ugly, y'all. I'm not saying she's ugly at all. She's not
She's
ugly.
not, but
She's
Mauricio is
beautiful.
like,
She's
he is a
beautiful,
beautiful
but
man.
just her ways and her pretentiousness, her obnoxiousness, her like just overall aura is just so. She reminds me of a witch.
What? Wait. To prepare me for statements like that.
No, but no, she does. She reminds me of a witch. Like, you know, I remember the witch in the cartoons that they do a spell to make them pretty, kind of like Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, Snow White stepmama, or whatever that was. Whatever she was, you know how she made herself, and then she turned into that ugly kid to disguise herself. I kind of feel like that's Kyle. Hmm.
The thing with James is when he feel away. That's how I feel. Straight face. I'm over here trying my best not to laugh and snort and all
No,
types of
be
things.
serious. Like I'm not sure reminds me of a witch. Like she does. Like she.
I'm not doing this with you, James. I'm not doing it. She reminds me of a witch.
She do. Focus Pocus has the third movie she needs to be in.
I'm gonna move on, y'all, because Kyle is not Kyle. Ooh. Why am I saying the lady name when I meant to say James? Let's not do that. Shanique said Kyle is so obnoxious. This season really solidified it for me. I was always neutral, but man, she made absolutely everything about herself this season, and that was exacerbated at the yeah.
But see, the problem is with that is that honestly, she's given the space and the allowance to do so, kind of like Giselle Bryant on Real Housewives of Potomac. That's why I said Giselle Bryant is really the Kyle of that show, because she gets, and Teresa from New Jersey, they're allowed to get away with it because they are the face of the show. So they're allowed to do certain things, which to me, that's unfair because we're asking her as viewers of the show and as people who recap the show to be as honest and forthright as you possibly can. And the fact that you're not doing it makes it even worse because it's like you're now lying in our faces. You're not saying really what it is. And I just feel like for me, I don't want to watch her anymore. I just don't. I don't know why she's still here.
The fact that I'm getting satisfaction from the reads for Kyle tell me something that is very wrong with me. But I think that's the best way to thank you for watching the recaps, by the way. It means a lot.
Yes, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it.
We do. That way we know we're not just talking to each other. Because sometimes, especially when I'm doing my recaps alone, I feel like I'm talking to myself and I'm like, just looking at this computer. But yeah, Kyle,
that's a good point, Naya. That's a good point. Kenya Moore is a good example.
Yeah. Ooh.
Kenya Moore is a great example of
Yeah.
how she's not allowed, to have leeway in her storyline, and she has to literally pull shit out of her ass to make sure that she is on the show.
I'm trying to tell you. She it's just a mess. She said, hold up now, Kenya Moore. We love Kenya, but she doesn't.
We love Kenya, but she
with stuff the way that they'll let like Candy get away with something or Portia get away with something. Oh no, we never gonna come for Kenya.
Oh no, I love Kenya. No, I might not agree with her on every stance, but I understand her. I really do.
Keeping the Housewives of Atlanta alive, child.
No, what's funny? Even when her and Portia were into it, I actually understood her more than I did Portia. The problem is that I didn't like her behavior towards it. Like she had a valid point. It's just her behavior diminished the message. And that's what I didn't like about Kenya. But I love her. No, I think she is. I understand her more and more as I get older.
Yeah, Kenya makes a lot of sense. I really like Kenya, actually. Even when she's not on the show and doing interviews and stuff, she is likable. Speaking of Kenya Moore and the Housewives of Atlanta, I know that they are trying to figure out their casting. I am happy Candy's not coming back. Sorry, y'all. I just am. Not because I dislike Candy. I just feel like she had no story. But we will be recapping Housewives of Atlanta, whatever the fuck they figure out what they're doing on James's channel, as we did prior. So keep a lookout for that whenever you hear announcements on RHOA. But yeah, Andy asks Kyle, sorry to get back on topic, is anything going on with Morgan Wade and you? And Kyle says, well, Andy says, is there anything going on with you too? And Kyle, I'm just like, Kyle, it's a yes or no question.
It's a yes or no. Like, she was pissing me off. Either yes, y'all are doing something, or no, y'all are not.
Right.
Which one is it?
It's very simple.
Because it's very obvious it was a yes question, that it was a yes answer to the question, but you didn't want to do that because you don't want your husband to take half your shit.
I think we said this too last week. There's open-ended and closed-ended questions. Kyle keeps getting asked closed-ended questions.
It was Dorit we were referencing.
Yes,
that last week.
This is why they're fucking friends, because Kyle and Dorit did the same thing at the reunion.
But once again, Kyle is pretentious. That she had to honestly, without incriminating herself, because as I said, she don't want Mauricio to know that there was a possible infidelity in this marriage before the separation. That's really that's why she hesitated. Because I'm like, shit, like, oh shit, I got to think about this. Because if Mauricio finds out that we did something before we separated in this marriage, he's going to get me. You know, but that's what pretentious people think. They mama really, they mama need their ass. Big Kathy need her ass for ruining these women.
Well, she's in the ground, so I hope that's, you know, I guess she's not here, so.
No, you know what, Shanique, I agree with that. I do. I think it is deeper than that. But the problem is that because she's so pretentious, we're never going to know or understand that.
That's interesting. She says, I simply
think exactly
others' opinions. Yeah. He's been saying that's exactly what it is. And I think everyone can agree there with Kyle. We all know that she cares. Everyone cares about what others think and how they look, but she cares.
No, she takes that to a third degree higher than it needs to be for her to have the access that she has and the money that she has and the wherewithal that she has. There's no way that she should care this much. There's no way.
She shouldn't, but it's sad that she does, and I'm at least glad she admitted to being insecure, but I don't know. We'll see. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, and Kyle is an old dog. So we will see. The comments stay exactly right. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Yes. This cannot be healthy. It's not healthy, and that's why it's a mess on TV.
And it's not healthy. And the craziest thing is she has the resources to get therapy so that it can actually, make sense to be healthy. We'll just say it like that. She has, and the thing about it is there's people who have her mindset that don't have the access and the money to pay for proper mental health care. That's just crazy to me, because there's something wrong with her. Like, they're really, like, me watching this third part of this reunion, there's something really wrong with Kyle. Like, there's something like mentally wrong with her. Like, the fact that she has all these image issues with her life, her marriage, and her being is so crazy to me. And the fact that she's trying to normalize it on a TV show is even more crazy.
Yeah, I think he is preaching. He is. This is why I love him. It's very deep. It's deeper. And I do think, I don't know much. I'm getting hours to become a therapist right now, but I'm not one yet. But based on what I'm learning, it seems she probably got some form of depression and some other shit. So I think Kyle, what's wrong with her will probably take many years to fix, but that's only possible if she does the work. And I don't think that Kyle wants to do the work. I think money and fame, like Naya said.
Most pretentious people don't think there's anything wrong with them at all. Yeah. So I think that's probably where we'll leave off, is that she doesn't think anything's wrong with her. She just thinks her way of being is just the way to go.
She thinks that what she's doing is the right thing. And I think the money and fame probably makes her feel even more solidified in it being right. The last thing that Andy asked her at the reunion, I cannot believe, and I'm sorry to keep saying it, that the whole reunion was dedicated to Kyle. I think Bravo really thought that people were invested in the separation and what's happening with her so much that we cared to see it. There's so much more that could have been discussed and brought up that happened within the season. And now when the new season comes on, because it's saying they're supposed to start filming already or some shit in a little bit, there's going to be beefs and dynamics to friendships and stuff that people are going to have to watch to catch up on, because they spent so much time talking about Kyle versus the group, in my opinion. But I could also be wrong. But Andy asked her if she sees herself with Morgan romantically at the end of all of this. And Kyle's answer was she does not know. I would love for someone to ask me, when, like, if I'm going through a breakup or something, do you ever see yourself with your friend, any friend? What? No, they're your friends. That's the beauty in them. You don't have those extra, attachments that come with the relationship. So it's weird that she says she doesn't know if she would see herself with Morgan, which means that Morgan may not mind seeing herself with Kyle. So I just don't understand any of it. I think we've talked about it enough. Let's see the comment. Shanique says, there is only one thing I wanted to see with Kyle, and that was for Sutton to stand up and get her together for once and for all. Didn't give a flip about Mauricio. Yeah.
We all were like that. And the fact that Sutton didn't, that was a real big disappointment. So that means next season when Sutton comes back, that means I want Sutton to give it to her just like even beyond what we see Sutton doing. Like I need her to give her a real big taste of her own medicine. Like I need it to be real at this point. Because what Sutton did disappointed me at this reunion. I thought Sutton was way more alive because y'all remember Sutton's first season when she was a friend of the show? Sutton got these girls together. When I tell you I was here for Sutton throughout all this, especially when it came to Teddy, I was like, yes, you better get her, Sutton. That's when I started to like her, and then I didn't like her, and then I liked her, now I love her. So it's like
that's why people I think have a love-hate with Sutton. She's not consistent in getting people together and putting them in their motherfucking place. Because she did do that. But I think with Kyle, we have to remember that Kyle and Sutton did at one point get really close. Sutton was in her house, all types of stuff.
Oh, I remember she paid her $25,000 a month for rent. I remember that.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Child, that make my 15. I'll be complaining about having to pay $1,500. And
when I tell you, I said, well, dang, that's what I'm like, Sutton, I could be your friend. Wait a minute, $25,000 a month.
Yeah, I'm her friend too. Shit, bitch, you want your pedicure did? I need that.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, I agree, Shanique. I didn't really care too much about the Mauricio and Kyle thing. I've said that. You've watched a few of the recaps. I said that consistently. It's like, just tell us what it is so we can, process it and move on. But I care more about Sutton doing that. And we said earlier before you joined the live, we love Sutton. She's one of my favorite housewives right now. But where I need Sutton to do better is getting at people. She can't keep being so simple. I also agree that Teddy is boring, and I'm tired of her. I want people to stop supporting her fucking podcast and stuff because Teddy doesn't have anything to say that Teddy thinks. That's what I'll say. Teddy says what Kyle or her husband or the bathtub thinks. Like, that's how Teddy thinks. I don't think fucking Teddy has thoughts of her own personally. She says Crystal is equally inconsistent. Both of them have the ways and the means to really run these women. James says this all the time, if they wanted to. Remember Crystal and Sutton together at Renner? Yes. That was good. That was probably the last good thing. I hope that Crystal, Sutton, and Garcelle stick together no matter what. Do not.
They had to, because they're the odd men out. They have to stick together because at this point, what else can we do? And as I said, Crystal and Sutton really can turn the dynamic, and Garcelle can turn the whole dynamic and ice the other women out if they wanted to. And that's why I'm disappointed in Annemarie, because I felt like you aligned with the wrong team. And instead of you being observant and looking at everybody and seeing what everyone was about, you chose to go with the popular girls on the show and try to come at the other women on the show. That was really why I didn't like her. It's because I really feel like she really just chose a side because it was popular versus really looking at, okay, well, wait a minute, let me look at see how these women move first. Because I guarantee you, if she was really like an equal like thinker, she would be over there with Crystal and Sutton and Garcelle. That's what I'm thinking.
Wholeheartedly, player. Wholeheartedly. I agree. This cast is I think Beverly Hills is going to get to a point. I think all of the housewife shows right now, honestly, are at a point where they need to listen to the audience and do cast shakeups or add whatever the hell, shake it up, change it, because across the board they're allowing, it's like cliquish, like high school, but these are 45-year-old plus women usually. So it's getting to a point
I
where
want to see new women at this point. I want Kyle to go because I feel like she's been on here too long.
Yes,
I want Doris to go because she needs she does not have a storyline, never has a storyline outside of these whole robberies and
Doris needs to go to
break-ins.
the South and go take a tour of a slave house and slave quarters. And then after that, I need somebody to send her to an HBCU to live for a week. And then after she does that, I need somebody to teach her the Black Lift Every Voice and sing. I need her to learn that song. And then after that, I need for her to take a class on cultural anthropology. Once Doris does that, she might be in a place where she can get out of debt and have some sense, but I don't ever want to see Dorit back on the show. I can't stand that wench. I really can't. I want to pull out her tracks every time I see them. That's how I feel. But
how do you feel about Erica? Like, do you think we should keep Erica?
Don't do that, you petty. He's like, I want to know what she's going to say. Erica. So what's Kim Pyre say? He's twerking on the fence. Shout out to Kim Pyre. That's where I'm at with Erica. Now, if we take out the emotions of what happened with her husband and the fraud and all of that, I used to like Erica because she would get the women together, but now I don't really believe much that Erica says, and I don't know how I feel. I feel like
Erica was the opposite reason why I didn't like her, because I didn't like what she did to Eileen. The Teddy thing I could take, but Eileen, no. Eileen didn't deserve that at all. So, yeah. No, she didn't. She didn't deserve that at all. But the thing about Erica is I actually have a change of heart. I actually don't want Erica on the show.
You don't want her on the show?
Nope.
Really? I never thought I'd hear that from you. Why?
Nope, I don't want her. I don't want her on the show because I feel like it's not that she doesn't give, or not that she's explain. I'm sure she's trying to explain what's going on within reason because it is legal. But I feel like I don't care anymore. I don't care no more.
Ask those who are watching, speak of Erica, to anybody who's here right now, whether I'm live on Twitch as well as YouTube. Looks like I have watchers on both. Did anybody watch Erica's little special? I believe it was called Bet It All on Blonde. I did not watch it, but I'm curious to know how it, or if people liked it. I know it got an okay amount of viewership, but I'm curious to know if people like it. Shanique said Erica is no longer real. That's probably exactly.
The only spinoff I wanted to see of Erica was the outcome of these cases. So if they were going to do a show that built around the outcome of the cases and what she's liable and responsible for, and if her and Tom are actually going to get the divorce, that's the only thing I want to see.
No, she has officially lost. Ronald Richards, he was the original attorney on the case against Girardi and Keese, I believe it was, but he has been and works on the case and all of that, and has been letting us know and showing us the court documents. She has lost every appeal and is forced to go to trial for multiple things. So I don't think the judge in California is going to grant Erica a divorce until all of these cases are settled. And
I know they're not. I know how California works.
Right thing to do. People died, and then their families were played out of money that they could have used to put them in the ground and give them a proper burial. That's fucked up. So I'm glad the judge is not granting her a fucking divorce, because she don't deserve it. Shanique says, that's right, Jay. She is feeling you today. Did you hear about what she did to the designers of you watched the documentary? Marco. She just lost that case too, and they're going to trial for that now as well. They were designers that Erica worked with, and she basically allowed them to take the fall for some shit that Erica and her husband did. This man sat in jail. He was trying to adopt a child, was unable to do it. It was really sad. Look up Marco. It is.
I am when I get off of here. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, it was really sad. It was really sad. Yeah. Oh, yeah, she wrote that. She literally ruined their lives to the point where they were no longer eligible to adopt. They lost a good amount of their fortune, having to pay for court fees and stuff just for it to all end up dismissed. And then Erica and them just kind of went ghost on them, never gave them an apology. So because of that, I'm like, fuck that bitch. But I want to see what happens with her court cases, and I don't like that Bravo's just allowing her to be on the show. Hi, XO. Thank you for being here.
First of all, she is a white woman crying tears. So of course they're going to have mercy and sympathy for her. Of course they're going to allow her all of this, righteousness to get, or sustain her lifestyle. Of course they're not going to allow her to be homeless and lose everything. They're not going to allow that. This is a white woman crying. White women tears are protected.
They are. They really
under all circumstances and believed at every expense, no matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad. And I'm not saying this to place down, but it is true. We live in a society where it is true and it has been proven. White women tears are protected no matter what. Okay, okay. Oh Lord. All right, we're getting off track here.
Listen, man, that is XO Vodka. He participates in our music often. Be sure to stream him for those who like music. I agree with what you're saying, though. They do get away with more. I think NBC is showing. NBC's gonna have to do a lot of explaining. There's a lot of racially motivated things.
Well, the thing about it is the fact that she was able to even get a spin-off show. I don't care if it was 1 episode or 5. The fact that she was able to get a spin-off show showing, and the fact that she was able to get a Vegas residency after all of this. I'm not saying it's not well deserved, but I'm just saying under different circumstances,
it's not.
I'm not what
happened. Let me tell y'all this. I do not feel Erica deserves shit related to music until I hear that whole sing a cappella or with minimal auto-tune. Until I hear that, and I need her to do more than this while holding the mic. Because it seems like she don't really dance. The dancers do. She just does that. I want to hear her sing a cappella. It could be Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Fucking Star or Hot Cross Buns, but I want to hear it. And I want to hear it clear. But Erica's not going to do that. They do their takeaways and everything is pretty much over with the reunion, obviously. But I didn't like that Annemarie, Crystal, or Annemarie and Dorit and Kyle looked extremely worried and bothered when Crystal was like, her takeaway is, I'm going to learn to keep speaking up. Because I really do think Crystal was afraid to speak up. She spoke up this season, and I love activated Crystal. I'm here for it. I'm hoping Doris doesn't come back, but I think that this also showed without Sutton and Garcelle, even with all the drama of Kyle's life, I was a little bit bored watching this reunion. I'm not going to lie. If 2 people leaving makes a reunion filled with a divorce drama boring, then the rest of them need to do.
It goes to show you, we've been here for an hour and 31 minutes trying to dissect and in place what we just saw in this third part of the reunion. Oh.
You know, it's funny. I heard that she practiced for her residency in Mandalay Bay and like actual legit areas where you would have performances. And I did hear that she performed somewhere that was like way smaller. Because I need to ask one of my friends who lives in Vegas. I have a cousin who is a friend that we're both friends with who lives in Vegas who went to Erica's show. But every time we ask about it, the girl just never again, but she won't elaborate. I want to know what happened on the show.
I'm waiting for someone to upload it on YouTube so way I can see it.
I want to see the show. I'm petty. I would really conduct a live just to analyze the show and react to it. I would do it. But that's all we got for this season of Housewives of Beverly Hills. This was season 13. I don't know why I didn't put it in the thing. I appreciate everybody who tunes in, everybody who watches, subscribes, likes the video. You guys keep us going, give us motivation, show us that people care about our little opinions. All I will end it with, I do think that this was an okay season of Beverly Hills. They definitely did give compared to some other Housewives seasons. The only thing I have to say is I hope that Dorit and Kyle are gone next season, but I know that's unrealistic, so I just hope one of them is gone or at least gets demoted. But yes, when Sutton left, we could have wrapped. So
exactly.
Thank you all. We appreciate you. The link is in the description if you are interested in subscribing to James's channel. Shonique says, thank y'all. Appreciate the show. I'd give the season a solid 8.5. I actually kind of agree. The 8.5.
No, y'all are too generous. This was a 4.6. If I ain't never seen a 4.6 in my life. This shit didn't start getting popping. There was only 4 or 5 takeaways. Name them. Merce in the Purse. And us reading Annemarie. I'm not rating this no 8.5 because it's below that. But thank y'all so much.
He said I'm not rating it. I agree with the rating. But other than that, we are done. I love you all. Have the best. What day is it? Wednesday? Oh, shit, it's Thursday. Ooh. Have the best Thursday. Adios. You guys have a good night.